evening, everyone, and welcome to the Senior Living 411 series. Boy, do I have a treat for you today. Today, I'm on with one of my very good friends, Miss Janet Heidker. Janet, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. The topic of today is the 411 on living your best life in retirement. And I was sitting with Janet one day and I was just talking and I was thinking about how wonderful her life is. And I thought, you know what? Let's have a conversation about how to have such a great life when you retire, how to be fulfilled, how to really live out your best years. Now, Janet has enjoyed the pleasure of retirement for the past 6 years. She's a former sales rep for Swarovski Canada Limited, and she also loves traveling across Ontario. Since retirement, she has taken courses to become a certified life coach, a certified speaking coach, and she also holds the Toastmaster Distinguished Toastmaster designation. She gives back to the community by teaching public speaking skills at a private school in Toronto. And in her spare time, she loves to go for a ride in her sports car, which is my favorite color, with her top blue with the top down. Janet, again, welcome to the show.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And Janet, now I always start with the same question. Tell me your story. What was your life like? What was your career prior to retirement?
In my early days, I was a secretary. I worked for various computer companies for about 10 years. Then I switched and created myself as a sales professional. I took a Dale Carnegie sales training course and I became one of the 7 sales professionals across Canada with Swarovski. I covered the Ontario region. But prior to doing that, I worked 14 years with the Peel Regional Police. I was lucky enough to land the job as the executive assistant to all the first 3 chiefs of police for the region of Peel.
Oh,
And
wow.
that was a very interesting job.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it was. I'm sure it was. And it's not right to ask a woman her age, but can you give us an idea around what age did you retire at?
Oh, sure. I'll tell you. I took early retirement at 62
Wow.
because I could. And you do the math, 6 years. I just turned 68.
Ah, you do not look an age past 49. Okay, Janet, I would never have guessed. Janet, did you plan for retirement or did it just a package was offered to you? What led you into that early retirement?
A little bit of both. I decided to leave Swarovski at 59. Circumstances were such that I didn't want to travel more extensively than I was. I was concerned about being in my car for all those hours. And anyway, I decided to leave. And then one of my customers offered me a position as a sales professional in his jewelry store. Actually, I became a Pandora specialist for 3 years.
Wow.
And
Okay.
that was down in the underground tunnel and the
Yeah.
underground path, sorry, at the Richmond Adelaide Center. And I loved it. I loved being around people and I loved selling Pandora. It was
Right.
fun.
So definitely if we need some advice on some nice jewelry from Pandora, Swordsky, you can give us a little bit of tips there, right?
Yes, I
All
can.
right. Love it, love it, love it. And so once that happened, and I guess, like I said, how did you go into retirement and how much time did you give yourself? What sort of planning was involved?
I hit the ground running.
Hmm.
I decided after 3 years of working downtown that I didn't like taking the subway anymore and I had plans for myself. So I thought, I'm going to officially retire, which I did. And I never looked back. I never thought about, am I going to be bored?
Yeah.
What am I going to do? I'm not a television watcher all day or all evening back then, and I still don't. I have a rule. I do not watch television during the day. Just the news in the morning, and at night I will, but not during the day. That should be productive time in some
Yeah.
way. So
So,
that's what I did.
so what I'm hearing you say is even in retirement, you keep the work hours for times for you to be productive and doing things as opposed to becoming a couch potato.
That's right. Absolutely. Yes. It's just a different kind of work.
No, you know what, and it makes absolute sense. Now, I know that one of the things you do is you spend a lot of time volunteering, a lot of time volunteering. Can you share with us some of your causes?
Yes, I have been a volunteer with Dress for Success, an organization. It's not only in Toronto, but it's very heavily in the United States that helps, we call them disadvantaged women, women who have been through very difficult circumstances. And we help them choose clothing for job interviews. When they meet someone like me at the Dress for Success office, I find out what kind of clothes they like, and I find 3 outfits for the first visit. And when they actually get a job, then they can come back for 2 more. And we help them with that. These women generally have never had the luxury of choosing their own clothes, never mind business attire. So it's something that I really enjoy doing.
Mhm.
Then I decided to become a life coach, as Desiree said, helping people build their lives, make a new beginning. And then I fashioned myself as a public speaking coach because Toastmasters is a very big part of my life, as it is Desiree's as well.
Yes, it is. That's actually where we met. I
It is.
remember the first time seeing you, it was at a conference and you were hosting the speech contest, dressed impeccably, blinging with Swordsky, now that I know. But I was like, who is this woman? And it's so funny how life works because here we are now. I consider you a best friend.
Yes.
So definitely, Toastmasters has done a lot, I think, for both of us, and it's formed a friendship, I think, beyond that as well. As
Absolutely.
well.
And
Now,
I'm just about to go into my 4th year coaching the grade 11 and 12 students at a private school for girls in
yeah,
Toronto. That's my give back. You're not
yeah,
allowed to pay to charge for your services with Toastmasters.
yeah,
So I do this from my heart. I love the girls. I love the staff, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to do it.
yeah. And how do you find the kids, the girls in the high school? How are they receptive to learning to be better communicators and speakers?
They love it because it's not part of the regular curriculum. It's a teacher. I
Yeah,
am a teacher at the school, someone coming in from outside doing something completely different. And
yeah.
they like the fact that it's new and different. The only difficulty, perhaps, with this particular session is that we all have to wear masks.
Oh, yes.
Can't get around it. It would not be my choice.
Yeah.
But the school has their rules, and if I am to enter the school, I have to follow the rules. So we're
Wow,
just going to have to project our voices that much more.
that much more. Exactly. I didn't even think about that. That totally flips my mind. Janet, you speak with so much passion. What motivates you? I mean, you help women who are disadvantaged dress for success. You help young people learn to become better speakers and leaders. What motivates you?
A positive attitude. I had the most unfortunate experience of losing my husband. My husband died of a sudden heart attack at the age of 44. I was 39 with a 2-year-old. I have just one child, one daughter, Lindsay. And despite those incredibly difficult circumstances, I had to decide how I was going to conduct myself. And I did not go to bereaved families, not because there's anything wrong with it, but I wanted to surround myself with positive people. I would only allow positive people around me. Anything negative like that, would just bring me down. And it was easy enough for me to cry, but I wanted to be around people who would help lift me up. And that's where I come from in my life. I have a positive attitude. I don't live from a position of fear or negativity. It's too easy. Why do that? It's more challenging and more rewarding to come from a positive place. And that's what I've done ever since John died.
That was so powerful. You're giving me chills, Janet. I know we've spoken about it before, but thank you for sharing that. And I think somebody out there who may be going through a similar circumstance, I believe you have just helped them by simply saying, sharing that story and testifying for us on what really motivates you. So often we hear money or something more material, but your motivation really comes from the heart and it comes from a good place. And for those of you who know Janet like I do, she really is a positive person. I've never seen you frown. You're always smiling. That's just who you are, and you've embraced positivity to the fullest. So thank you for sharing that. Uh, as we all know too, fitness is key. What is your fitness regimen?
When I was working, I would go to Good Life Fitness after work and I would hit the 6 o'clock gym floor class, whatever it was, Monday to Friday. After I retired, my daughter got me into the possibility of working out in the morning. She wanted to go in the morning, and I didn't want her to go on the bus by herself. So I said to her, Lindsay, if you'll change to a morning routine, I'll take you to the gym in the car and you can do your thing and I'll do mine. And that will become a gym routine. And that's what I do. Before COVID, I'm at the gym for the 6 o'clock a.m. class, whatever it is, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And now we obviously in Peel are under lockdown. When we could go a couple of weeks ago, I would line up for the 6 a.m. class and make sure I was one of those signed in to join the few spots available at 6 a.m. But because we can't physically go to the gym, I go for a walk every day. I do my stretches. I've just closed my swimming pool. I can't even swim, but I do something to keep my body in tone every single
Exactly.
day. Yeah.
Exactly. We're just seeing your top half, but you are a fit lady. You look great. You're a fit lady. People, we're here talking about the 411 and living your best life in retirement. We have Janet Heidker here with us. She spoke about volunteering, giving back. She's told us what motivates her. She's told us about her fitness regimen, getting up at 6 a.m. and not getting paid to do it. Can you imagine that? That is a life. And she's taking care of herself. Self-care is so important. Now, what else have we got here? We've gone through the fitness, we've gone through the volunteer. Traveling. How have you incorporated traveling into your lifestyle, Janet?
Well, in an ideal world, I love to travel. I go on at least one or two vacations out of Canada a year. Just prior to COVID, I booked with a friend of mine a beautiful trip to Turks and Caicos. And as I'm speaking right now, we're going. My friend Mary and I are going to Turks and Caicos in the beginning of December for 9 days. And
Okay.
yes, we will have to isolate when we come back, but it's just nice to be able to get away.
Yes.
If I can't get away, like this summer, because I've been pretty much tied to the house and local activities, as most of us had. Like
Mhm.
Desiree said, I love to go for nice long car rides in my little sports car. Makes me feel
Yes. Yes. And I think last time we spoke, Turks and Caicos doesn't have any cases of COVID.
no,
They're one of the few places that doesn't.
no, there are no cases, and the only stipulation, other than whatever they tell us for the plane, is that we have to have a negative COVID test within 5 days of boarding the plane. No
Okay.
problem.
All right. Well, take lots of pics. Looking forward to seeing them. I know you're going to have a blast.
Yes.
So Janet, Has COVID had an impact on your retirement? As far as we don't need to go to, we're not going deep into your financials, obviously, but as far as your investments, a lot of people who were planning to retire, I know, have to probably tack on some more years. So has it had an impact on you being already retired?
Yes, it did. In March, my investments went way down. Yeah, as I think it has for most people,
Yeah.
but yeah, personally, way down to
Okay.
the point where I asked for an appointment with my financial manager,
Mhm.
and we talked about it, and we did some switching things. But the bottom line is now, nearly 8 months later, I'm, I think he said 2% down from where I was before COVID. So
Okay.
it's almost come back,
Hmm. Hmm.
and that's good enough. I'm okay with that.
Right.
But
Right.
as far as me personally goes, I have to say I really miss being around my friends. I miss the camaraderie. I miss going to a restaurant for a glass of wine.
We won't name that restaurant, but
I better not name it. I'll just keep it generic. But yes,
yes,
yes, I miss that. I miss the personal contact. I miss getting dressed up to go out.
I know. I know. Heels seem so
Oh,
foreign now, don't they?
pardon? What'd you say?
I said heels seem so foreign now.
Oh,
On heels.
yes,
Yes.
exactly. I
Yeah.
miss that. Yeah.
Yeah. I understand that for sure. Have you ever thought of going back to work, even on a part-time basis? And if you did, what would be your ideal job?
Interesting question. No, I've not
No.
thought about it because I have such a busy life. I don't have time to think about it.
Yeah.
But if I did, oh, I'd open up a jewelry store.
Ooh, that would be so
Hands
you.
down, I'd open up a jewelry store because that's something I know a lot about, something I have a passion about, and something I could contribute to other people's lives. What's ugly about jewelry?
Right?
Sparkles, it's blingy, it's fun.
It's glitzy.
Like my license
That's her
plate.
nickname. Yes, her nickname is Miss Glitz, and she truly lives up to that. She personality is glitzy. Everything about Janet is glitzy. Janet, what is your favorite quote?
Oh, Sir Winston Churchill, when you are going through hell, keep on going. Never, never, never give up. Love him.
Powerful, powerful quote, and so true. So many people are going through trials and tribulations in this new world that we're in that we do have to keep in mind never, ever, ever give up. So that's a very powerful quote. Janet, what do you want your legacy to be? How do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as an awesome mother, a great friend,
Check.
someone who lived her life to the fullest. I am also an author. I
Mm.
would like to think that the legacy of my story in empowering women to succeed will live on as to some of the difficulties that I have faced in my life, and the fact that, as a matter of fact, Sir Winston Churchill's quote is at the beginning of my chapter, and it permeates through my story. I want to be known as someone who never, ever gave up.
Touching on you being an author, what's the name of your book? Do you want to share that with us? You might have some
Yes,
listeners that would like to pick up a copy.
yes, it's called Empowering Women to Succeed. And it's a compilation of a variety of stories of women who've been through some trying circumstances in their lives. I shared one of them, the death of my husband, but it's not the only one. And I am chapter 2, called Dancing in the Rain.
Oh, beautiful title. Dancing in the Rain. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Janet, before we wrap up, what advice would you give our listeners on how to not only plan for their retirement, but to plan, even though you say you didn't plan, what advice now that you've walked through these steps would you give people on how to plan for their best years like you have?
I'll be honest, Desiree, whatever your listeners feel they need financially, take a very careful look at it, because as far as finances go, you have a lot more time to spend money. And I found when I retired, that's exactly what I did. I spent more money. But being realistic
Right.
about it, yes, it is a factor. I would say have something to do, have a goal. As Desiree said, I was going to become a volunteer. And with Rest for Success, I was there 3 days a week. That's a lot of free time. Make sure you have a plan as far as if you have a partner, that the retirement works on the level for yourself and your partner as well. It has to be harmonious. I am on my own, so all my decisions were my own. Make sure you have time for whatever you call fun. I love gardening, and I spend a lot of time in my garden, and Desiree's been there. I do have a swimming pool. I love swimming, enjoying that. Surround yourself with people and activities that you love. And for God's sake, don't dwell on negativity. It's far too easy. Take the hard road and find ways to be positive, because if you do, when things do become difficult, you'll find you'll be a master at making things less stressful than if you dwell on the negative. That would be my advice.
Wow. My next question was going to be what would your closing words be? But those are great. Do you have any other words that you'd like to say before we say goodbye to everybody?
Yes, these are the best years of my life. I have worked for 40 years raising my daughter on my own. Now that I can do what I want, when I want, with whom I want, to me, this is the most powerful position any human being can be in. I cherish every single day. Eat a healthy diet, exercise, maintain a positive image, and practice your best smile.
Practice your best smile. That's one to live for right there. Janet, thank you so much for joining us this evening on the 411 on living your best life in retirement. I wanted to bring this show to my viewers just because sometimes we think about aging, we focus on all the negative things. And as you know, a lot of my shows focus on fall prevention. So I wanted to shed a positive light on everyone as we enter into the month of November, which is Fall Prevention Month. Now, why is that important? Because falls are the leading cause of injury-related hospitalizations among Canadian older adults. As a matter of fact, 20 to 30% of older adults fall each year. So for the entire month of November, the Senior Living 411 series, we will be speaking to several industry experts on things such as the internal factors that may lead to falls, exercises that one can take to help prevent falls, what to do if you fall, or what to do if you see someone fall. We'll also have interactive activities and games every day beginning at 7 p.m. from November 1st every day through November 30th. So please join us in our pledge to help reduce the falls in seniors. Once again, thank you for joining us, Janet. I love you. You're my girl. You're my friend. And I look forward to seeing everyone shortly. And Janet, I will see you soon.
Love you.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me. It was a blast.